All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 26th ever episode of the Failing to Success in Multifamily Show, a podcast where we appreciate, discuss, and reflect on the setbacks real estate investors have had leading up to their success. Today, I have the absolute honor to have Madeline on as a guest. Madeline and I met a couple of months ago at an amazing Charlotte meetup and property walkthrough event that her and her team put up. Some of you may even know one of her business partners, Ryan Dumas, who was our great guest on episode 19th, I believe. I'm super excited for you all to hear Madeline's story. She is a rock star who specializes in leasing, an absolutely crucial aspect of our industry. Madeline is also the founder of More Clientele Digital Marketing, which she founded in 2008. Her company is dedicated to helping commercial real estate clients increase occupancy and revenue, a leasing and property management expert that has helped generate an additional $2.3 million in revenue for multifamily clients across critical markets, including Florida, Alabama, Arizona, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Georgia, and also a general partner to 500 plus units. Madeline's primary goal is to help individuals who want to learn how to become financially free with real estate. She is an absolute rock star. I can't wait to jump in. Now, I'm sure that behind all her successes is sacrifice, dedication, and a whole lot of hard work. So I can't wait for you all to hear her journey, her successes, but most of all, and the reason why we're all here today, her failures as she continues to reach her goals within multifamily. Madeline,
For sure.
welcome to the
Thank
show,
you.
my friend.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited also to get tell my story and just kind of, hopefully your viewers will get some knowledge, some inspiration, and just kind of dig in like their talents and what they love and kind of go out there and make it happen in this year coming.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Madeline, I know that you and I had connected prior to us actually hopping on the podcast, and I absolutely love your story. And I think I did a fairly bad job at introducing you. So please let us know who Madeline is.
Awesome. Well, I'm here in Orlando, Florida. I've been here for 26 years. Is not where I'm from. I'm actually from originally Rochester, New York, but we moved here, never visited. My mom just took her stuff, came here, and basically I've been here in this market for about 2 decades. So this is where I started. This is where I learned real estate, and basically real estate has always been my backbone. Whether it was going to school, getting a degree, I always loved real estate. So went to school here, went to college here, got my degrees in digital marketing. That's my background. But I've always loved real estate. So I worked with a realtor 2009 when actually the market went down, and we had an awesome year. Like everybody left real estate. We were able to go and close 37 deals, just following up and just getting to just networking with businesses like Disney and their employees, and they were actually buying houses. So it was really an amazing year. So you gotta, it was nice to kind of go through that challenge, but at the same time be able to really be successful, So while I was working with this my realtor, my friend, I was going to school for digital marketing. So I wanted, have my own firm in marketing and just kind of help just different industries, but real estate was always there. So I definitely just kind of finished my degree, worked with my friend, and we did good. But then I went back and I got my master's, and then I wanted to kind of go the agency side, but that just never happened. And it's so funny because whatever's for you and whatever your passion is definitely going to come around. So let's go back in 2003 is basically when I had my son. I am a mom of a 19-year-old. Back then, we didn't have computers. We didn't have anything. So I literally called all these apartments for Yellow Pages to see if they were looking for a job. And I definitely found one 5 minutes away where I was living, and they just acquired a 344 unit. So I said, hey, I need a job. I just had a baby. He's 3 months old. I need to, make some money. So I went, I did the interview, and it was like I said, 344 units. It was a value add, and it was a company from Chicago that acquired it. So it's basically what I'm doing now, but I didn't know what it was. I knew real estate as getting your license and, buying, selling houses. But when I got into this opportunity, they hired me as a leasing consultant. So back then we didn't have computers. We didn't have we didn't have websites or any of that, right? It was 2004. That's when I actually started this community. And I was there for a year and I leased up about 144 units. And it was so much fun because it was just like I had a binder, it was like about this thick, and I had like all the months, and I would just call people. And what I've noticed, a lot of people were relocating here to Central Florida for school, for two different schools, for motorcycle mechanic, and then they wanted to go to UCF. So I had a lot of people relocating from New York. So I worked there for a year. I saw this company come in. It was, I want to say like a C area. There was cops, there was people robbing. I mean, it was horrible. There was cops all the time there. But I was new in the industry, so I'm just there, right? But I saw them change it. They started, they put some money into the community. They started, the one bedrooms were like $499 and the two bedrooms were $799. Right now they're like $2,000. So you can, I mean, so from 2004 to now, it's amazing how they actually improved the community. But they fixed the clubhouse, they fixed the outside, the exterior, the interior. I mean, they changed the cabinets. I mean, you could just see the difference, the ambiance. It was just so nice to actually work there and see the difference, like the before and after. But again, I didn't really know what I was doing, and I was actually in what basically my future was going to bring, which sometimes you don't even know that. So I leased up these units, 144 all by myself. It was really a great success. This company acquired two more companies, or two other apartments in Tampa, and they wanted me to go. But at 2004, I'm like, I don't want to leave. My kid is really young. I didn't want to leave Orlando. So I didn't know the opportunity. So I said, no, I don't want to go. I want to go back to school. Yeah. So that's when I went back to school and I got my digital marketing. But in between going to school, real estate was always my passion. And I always used real estate to actually, pay my bills. So I went back and I went into another property while I was finishing my master's or my bachelor's. And I went in that one, and it was another value add. And it was basically, this time we did have internet. It was like 2012. And they were from Canada. I don't remember. I think it was like 200 and something units. But I come in 6 months, I leased 96 units all by myself. And, I just had a great time. But at that time, I leased them up. I wanted to go get into, marketing, go into an agency. I finished school and they didn't want me to leave, but I left and I said, I'm kind of done here. And, started just going out there, trying to find, my purpose in an agency and working with, with clients. And that, didn't really work out that way. So in 2019, I was trying to find a job and I couldn't find a job with my degree. Most of you guys probably, feel the same way. You work hard, you get a degree, you're so passionate, and you can't find a job because you don't have experience, you don't have a portfolio, and it's just frustrating. So I went through all that, and I went through
That's me.
That's you. I was like, what? So like you're frustrated, you have a large loan, all of us have like student loans. Yep. And I'm hoping to pay that next year. But, it's like, oh my God, I'm supposed to be making this much. And then what you do is you start valuing yourself and what you're supposed to be making. Yep. And I learned in that process to really focus on my value and what I have within, and not value in what I have in my bank account, because it's very easy for us to say, I don't have this much in the bank, I'm not worth it. Or I'm not worthy, right? So in 2019, it was the toughest year of my whole entire life financially. But I'm going to tell you this much, is like when you really, really want something and you really want to accomplish something, you do what you have to do. And I had one credit card that I only had maybe like $100 left. And I saw Grant Cardone you know, they were like a Florida special, $97 and whatever the case is. And I knew I couldn't afford that, right? I knew it. Like physically, I couldn't. But emotionally and like my mindset, I was like, I can. So I went ahead and I actually took, I bought the ticket. And prior to that, I had met a group of people because we had went to another conference, and they were like, it was like a mindset right here in Orlando. So it's, you know, it's local. And I reached out to them. I said, listen, I just bought this ticket to Grant Cardone, Miami. You know, let's get a couple people. I got like 6 people together. We got the rent-a-car, we got the Airbnb. I mean, connections here, there. Oh, my daughter, you know, she can get the rent-a-car and we could do this. So literally the trip was like $27 out of all of us. So that's all I needed to come up with. So I ended up going and loved it. And there was one session, right? That one session that you need, that one opportunity, that one person that you need to get to that next level when you can't see yourself, when you're struggling, when you're dealing with a lot. But that one opportunity. And my friend came up to me, he's like, hey, Grant Cardone's going to do his session of real estate apartments. You know, you love that. He was like, come. I was like, okay, what time is that one? Was at 7 o'clock. It's going to be after everything. I was like, okay, cool. So I'll meet you there. So when I went to that session, it was like, of course, I was like where I needed to be. And I do not remember how I got to this group, but all I know that I got into this group called Franchise and Multifamily group that people, you know, go in there, they talk and they, you know, they collab about real estate, about business. And I got into that group and that's where it started. So I started in there and I started doing challenges and started reading books and started meeting people from California, from all over the place. And I really started building relationships with these people. And I was like, wow, I didn't even know there was a group out there like this. And so I started doing videos and, you know, funny things and doing challenges and going out and looking at apartments. And that's where I met my partner, Ryan Dumas. And he's like, hey, you know, I'm always in Orlando, you know, visiting my clients. He's like, why don't we get together and, you know, kind of chit chat, figure out, you know, maybe we have something. So I was like, yeah. So, you know, I made it happen. I went with him and we collabed and basically, you know, we really had values and beliefs. You know, we believe in God, we believe in family, we believe in a lot of things. And that's when you're finding a partner, when you're finding someone to work with, you want to make sure that, you know, you really like this person and you can drive and you can learn, you can grow, and you're not jealous, you're not envious, but you're really proud of each other to actually get to the next level. Because sometimes as you grow, someone has more than you, or you can grab what they have, and, you know, it's kind of like a give and take, you know. So we ended up, you know, working together, and we failed a lot from 2019 to 2022 of like maybe from April. So like that whole time was just like we were in deals. We were gonna close a 44 unit in March 23rd, 2020, and we didn't close that one because of what the pandemic happened. But it was a blessing because that group wasn't the group that we were supposed to be with, you know what I'm saying? And we worked hard and we did this and we did that, but they're not even around. I don't even know where they're at. I don't even know what they're doing. So, you know, sometimes when deals don't go through, you have to look at it. It's like a blessing, you know, sometimes it's not worth it, you know? And so, yeah, so that's pretty much, you know, like that's the first deal. And then I've analyzed deals. They didn't go through. I've had a few under contract and they didn't go through. So you're gonna go through that, you know, you're gonna have those moments that you're like, man, I need to, you know, call brokers, or and you're scared, or I got to send out an LOI. I don't know if I did it correctly. I've been there. And then you find your niche, then you find your gift, your talent. And that's when I said, you know what? I'm going to marry digital marketing and real estate and my leasing experience. I'm going to marry these two. I'm going to throw it in my timeline on Facebook. And I got a lead from it. And from that lead, I literally started, for the last 2 years, I've been helping operators lease up their units, whether they want to refinance or they want to basically sell. So that's how, you know, kind of cut it short, but that's my story.
I absolutely love that. Madeline, your story is a story of strength, of resiliency, of gratitude. I mean, I absolutely love hearing your story, and it always gives me goosebumps every time I hear it. Um, let's take a step back because I love what you said at the beginning of our conversation, right? Is your passion always finds you, right? So you had three instances where you were within what is now your go-to, right? What is now your passion. You were in three instances where you were leasing for a large community, and you did it so well. But like at the end of the day, you were still an employee for a company, right? Right now, you are an investor and you are part of a team that is acquiring these units. But tell me a little bit about that transition, right? Like, how come you didn't just, you know, stay within a leasing job, right? But you decided to actually invest in these apartment buildings while also being a leasing, a leasing professional like you are, right? Why didn't you just stay within that column, but you decided to go into the investing column?
You know, I've always wanted to be an investor. Like I think it was 2008 or 7. I will go to these rich dad poor dad, conferences, and I came up with a LLC, like dynamic investment. Like I just wanted to be an investor. And when I went into the first community, I actually got my real estate license. They paid for it. I got the license, but within me it's like, oh, that's just not what I want, right? And my mom was like, but they paid for your license, go get, they paid for the class, you passed it, go get your license. And I'm like, I just didn't feel it within, like, I don't know, I don't want to do that, I just don't want to be a realtor, right? And people will always tell me to go do that, but I didn't want to do that. I just knew I wanted to work with investors. It was just within, right?
Okay.
So as I worked with these companies, what I said, you know what, I'm just going to learn and analyze and just be good at what I do, which is sell and talk to people and communicate with people and show them, what we have, what's available. Yeah. And I started really getting to know the audience. So when you get to know your audience, it's easier for you to actually sell a unit because you're just basically learning what their needs and what their interests are so they can actually move in. Okay. So I knew I had more. And when I worked for these properties, and a lot of these operators might not know because I've been in there 24/7, some of the property managers are not nice. They always have an attitude. They're not nice to your residents, which your residents are the ones who's paying your investors. But they're all, some of them have this facade where they're like, oh, great, on the phone, we have a report, we have this, we have that. So while I'm working in all these communities, I will see their character, I will see their work ethic, I will see how they treat the residents. Yeah. And what I've noticed is that I love my residents regardless what situation it was, if their toilet was running or, they had a situation. So I really resonated with the residents, and I didn't resonate with the property manager. So as I worked in these properties, I saw and I analyzed. And I, even in 2019, when I wasn't able to find a job, my friend goes, well, why don't you work at a temp job as leasing? And then you could just, make some money. And I'm like, oh, I never thought of that. I was like, okay, cool. And actually, I took it as an opportunity for me to visit a lot of opportunities, a lot of communities, to see how people treat their residents. And what I've noticed is I don't like how they're treating my people. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even have to know the people, because it's like, once you know the market, it's just, I can go into any community and I know what type of market is, I know what type of audience it is, and I know if the property manager is taking care of them or not in an instant. I can feel it. I can feel it because you walk in, you can feel the atmosphere. And what I wanted, I was like, oh no, I have more within me. I'm like, I don't want to be the property manager. I want to be more. And I didn't even know what that more was when I was working at a W-2. I didn't know. I just knew that I wanted more. So for me, I'm like, well, I need to, own this property, for me to be able to like manage it and do what I want to do. But when I'm working at W-2, I did not know, where you can work to actually be part of that, right? And then I found out that it was the asset management, and I said, oh, wow, I can do this all day. I was like, you know what I mean? I'm like, so now I could be in charge of the property manager. I could say, hey, is that unit leased? Have you talked to so-and-so? I send you this person. Have you called that person? And I'm really hands-on, because that is the money that is paying your investors. Yeah. So that's how I transitioned. Was it easy? No, it was not easy. Yeah. It was the most difficult thing that I can do in my whole entire life. Why? Because the norm is get a job, 9 to 5, get paid. But I knew that these properties are not going to pay what I'm worth. You know what I mean? And I just had to, even though I was making that money and it wasn't even paying my bills, I was always in the negative. I still knew that, okay, I'm going to get out of this. Yeah. I'm going to get out of this. But what I did was, when I was working at a W-2, I took it in a different perspective. I said, well, you know what? They're not paying me what I want. So I will go and I will serve. And I will wake up in the morning. I said, okay, God, I'm going to go here. You're blessing me with this position. I don't know what opportunity I'm going to see. I don't know who I'm going to talk to. And I will go happy, and I will walk in there like I was the owner. Yeah. That's how I will walk in. And I did that so much that it literally came into my life. And it's exciting to be an owner, part of an ownership of these properties that my team and myself are able to work in. I mean, it really, it starts with mindset, and it starts on like how you see yourself, and how you want people to portray you. And you could still do a good job at a W-2, but still within, like, really look at yourself like you're more, like you're still serving, but you could still be someone that you could be an owner, but you could still resonate and relate to your customers.
For sure. Yeah, I absolutely love your mindset, and I actually can't wait to dive into the mindset segments of our conversation. We'll get there. What I want our listeners to understand is that there is nothing wrong with having a W-2. As a matter of fact, a W-2 is great, because especially if you're doing it within an area where you see yourself becoming more in, right? Which you have become, and you keep on climbing and climbing and climbing. One of the things that I truly love about what you did is that you were very strategic in the way that you were working. You were leveraging your position to gain more experience, gain more insider knowledge, while also, enhancing your skills, which I absolutely love. Absolutely love. So before we dive into a deal, I have one more question for you, and that is, well, first of all, I want to make an observation is how you took a chance on yourself, Madeline. That is amazing, right? You took a chance on yourself. You had $100 left. The ticket was $97, and you still find a way to make it happen, right? By gathering the group of individuals and going to the conference. That is absolutely amazing. Like, that shows your hustle, your grind. I absolutely love it. So, as you know, our industry, our business, it's a relationship business, right? And a lot of the time, if we want to scale into buying these larger units, we need to build a relationship, build a network. You found an amazing business partner, Ryan, right? Great guy. But talk to me about, before finding Ryan, right? Which in business, I always say it's who, not how. Find a person that enhances you within that business partnership. But before finding Ryan, talk to me about the process of networking and, how that went. Like,
oh, wow, yeah. So I was in the digital space, so I networked a lot with people online. Yeah. So I networked a lot with people that, had different tools in the digital marketing space that, are influencers now, like Amy Porterfield, that have I followed people that started podcasts almost 10 years ago that right now they're like, they're millionaires. Yeah. So I networked within that space. So I learned how to network really, really good online in that digital marketing space. So I just kind of transitioned and I said, oh, cool. I didn't even know that you could do this with real estate, especially multifamily. So for me, it was because I've done it so much in the digital marketing space. I just kind of like took it to the real estate. So it was a little bit easier. And then I'm like, oh, this is easy, So I would just message people and talk to people. And I feel like I never meet a stranger, because like you're always online communicating with people or talking to people that you don't know because that's what I used to do before, that I can talk to anybody and talk to them about a deal or tell them, hey, this deal is, you're going to get this returns. Like, are you an accredited investor? So for me, it was just like, it was more like connecting with them and figuring out where they're at. And I did a lot of mistakes doing that too, because,
like dating, right? It's like you need to like find your
yeah.
person.
And not only that, but like, you're like, I don't want to feel like I'm spamming, but like they're following me on Facebook. So I would take hours watching a movie, just, hey, we have this deal. Hey, and I did it so much that, I mean, me and Ryan, we like, even, before it was with digital marketing, I didn't have to hustle. It was just building relationships. But then when I got into the multifamily, when I got with Ryan, it was hey, we got this deal. Let's see if we can do anything with it. Because, when you're new, you're trying to get every opportunity. But we failed, we failed because we didn't build relationships. They only knew us when we had a deal. So don't do that, build a relationship, get to know people, get to know what they like, where they live. Have conversations, do a Zoom call, at least if it's a 15-minute, 10 minutes, just get that face to face, just get to know each other, and that makes a huge difference, So I did that a couple of years ago, 2021. I did like 67 Zoom calls and build relationship with people, just get to know what people, where they're from, what's the market they're looking for. And I have a notebook, and I would just write things down. So that will help me out. So now this year I want to start that again, because sometimes you quiet down, and then it's like, okay, I want to get out there a little bit more and talk to more people, get to know people. And to be honest with you, at this stage, I just want to have fun and really know like what they like. And then when I travel to different cities, I can go and meet them and their family. Like, I really want to like build a community. Like, I just don't want to be, just all business, because you do business with people you like,
like I think it's like, know, and trust, right? And I absolutely agree with that. What a great tip right there that you just gave to our listeners, right? No matter their experience level, that is networking one-on-one, right? Like one-on-one and 101 as well, right?
Yeah.
You never just want to spam people without really making that connection, right? And it takes effort, it takes work. And frankly, it pays off, because you will also find a person that you want to do business with, right? It's never just a one-sided thing. Really great tip there. So you were able to find Ryan Dumas, and you guys made $1 billion day one, right?
Yeah, right.
But all right, so this leads us into the deal segment of our conversation. And obviously you mentioned that you went to 3 years of failures, which failures is something that we encourage in our podcast here. So tell us about a deal that you closed or may not have closed on, the challenges that you went through to get to that process, and what you learned from it.
Oh man, the deal I always talk about, guys. So I actually found an 8-unit here, like 10 minutes away from my house. It was about $1 million. Anyways, at that moment of my career in multifamily, I was analyzing deals left and right. Like, that's all I did. I think it was like 2020 that I was like, or 20, yeah, it was 2021. I was just like analyzing. So anyways, I found one 10 minutes away from my house. I was like, oh, this is a good deal. I have a YouTube channel here in Orlando that I help people find apartments. So, kind of giving them information and where to go, the prices and stuff like that. So I was like doing that also in 2019. So I said, if I find this community is a done deal, I can get people to lease here, like in my sleep, right? So I found this deal. I found it from a broker. It was very nerve-wracking, because I'm like, I'm doing this all myself. Like, yeah, I have Ryan, I have another partner, but I found the deal. I analyzed it. I called the broker. I said, I like this deal. Ryan was like, well, send an LOI. And I'm like, what is an LOI? I don't know how to do that. I never done this. He was like, send it. I sent the first one. I didn't, Ryan is like, you made a mistake. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this is so embarrassing. So I called the broker. Hey, I need to send you another LOI. I sent another one. I did another mistake. And I'm like, this guy is going to think I just don't know anything. But I'm like, it doesn't matter. I want the deal. So I sent it 3 times. And by the last time I did it good. I spelled everything correctly, whatever. He got the LOI. We started communicating. So this 8-unit was owned like 2 people, and they were like 98, 90. They were like in their 90s, like 98, 95. So they didn't have a T12. They didn't have any paperwork. They didn't have like anything, yeah. I'm like, I need bank statements. I need to see the income. I need to see what they've done. So it was very hard. It was like pulling teeth to get this information. But we were back and forth. I went into another like multifamily like community, how we have like a Zoom networking event. And I pitched a deal because I was like, I have this deal. I'm excited. I'm looking for investors that are looking in Orlando, in Florida. If you're interested, please let me know. Here's my email, call me. So I got a couple investors that were like, yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested in Florida. I want to get to know who you are and this and this and that. Now I know the market. I know my rents. That average rent back then was like 14 something for a 956 square unit, like square footage. So like, and plus I had my channel to, give information to people and where to rent. So in my mind, I'm like, I could do a quick little video. I'll get them leased. I mean, we can raise rents and whatever. The projection for that one was about, I think, $200 or like $200 to $50, $200 to $250 that I had put in the analysis that we were going to raise rents, right? It was a $1,200 square feet. It was $1,200. I think it was a $1,200. So it was like, it was very cheap. It was close to the airport, close to Disney. Like it was an area that is growing, but it's not there yet, right? So I can just see, I knew where this area was going. And this is something you guys want to learn, is like, you have to know your investors. You have to know that your investors also know your market. So there was like, when I had it under contract, we were getting the T12, we were trying to get everything going. The investors kept telling me, well, ask him if he has another portfolio. And I'm like, okay, do they have another portfolio? Because they wanted to combine it, maybe get more money and whatever the case is. Anyways, the thing is that they kept asking for more and more and more. And I'm like, look, I know my market. I can lease these up. I will be the boots on the ground. Like literally, this is a good deal.
Yeah.
They didn't listen to me. And I'm like, I started getting frustrated. And then when I talked to the broker kind of made me feel like he was trying to buy it. So it made me feel like he wasn't helping me, or he wasn't going to help me. So then I got, discouraged, and I'm like, I don't think this guy's going to give me the T12 or the paperwork that I need. I know I can get this property to X, Y, and Z. I know the market, but these investors, we were in 2020, with the end of 2020, it was December 2020. I could just remember what I had on and what we were like on the phone talking about it. And I only needed $250,000 to basically, these investors to come in. Anyways, the deal did not go through. I was very, very disappointed. And a year and a half ago, these rents are almost $300, $400 more than what I projected.
Wow.
So I saw these investors in a conference and I told them, hey, listen, I was like, the rents are like, now the rents here are like 19 something for the same type of square footage, 19 square feet. That was an 8-unit, 4 and 4. And it was like those units that you go up, and then it's like the whole, you have the whole unit is like straight shot, and then you have like the little balcony. So I was like, this is perfect. It was a really cute unit. Yeah. And I couldn't get it. And I'm like, oh man. And let me tell you, I would drive by there and I would look at it. And I'm like, is there any other property that maybe I can acquire? But that was one that I knew I could really lease it up, and I knew that I can get the rent where it needed to be, but it didn't happen. And it didn't happen because I wasn't talking to the right people, So when you know your investor, then your investors know that market and know who you are and trust you and really know that you can come through, they'll give you the money. And now when they see me, they go, any deal you bring me, I'm in. And I'm like, that. Well,
I love that. And that brings us back to what you had discussed right at the beginning of our conversations, is knowing who your audience is. Once you know your audience, you know what they want, you know what they need, and you're able to, make it happen, right?
Yep.
You do this with leasing, and it's the same thing with investor relations as well. Once you know your audience and you talk to the right individuals, you're able to fund your deals just like that.
Quickly.
I know for a fact if that deal comes up, it's getting bought by you,
I'm always watching it. I'm like, who
right?
bought it? And I'm like, I was so upset. I was like, oh, I don't even. And then there was another deal that I had put in. It was a 6 unit, but I was too early. So sometimes, you can see what's happening. You can see the city's putting money. You can see like a block that is changing, but there's certain pockets that you're just too early because the area hasn't reached to that peak yet. So I was almost gonna put that under contract, but then I pulled away because of the crime, and it's just not there yet. And actually, I have another investor that came, and I drove him around, and he gave me the perspective. I was like, yeah, you're too early, Madeline. Like, I can see your vision, I can see where you're coming from, but it's just not there yet.
Yeah.
So, and you have to know your areas. You have to know, like, okay, what the city is doing, what's not, what the area is doing, what's the crime, is it, so once you know that, then it's easier for you to, make a decision to pull away and say, I'm not going to do, I mean, I know I can do it, but I know the area, the neighborhood is not there yet. It hasn't met with me yet, you know?
Yeah. What a great lesson. And frankly, I know that our listeners are going to get a lot of value out of your story. So thank you for being vulnerable, Madeline, and sharing your story with us. Really appreciate it. So let's jump into the second to last segment of our conversation, which is mindset. I mean, anybody who is going to listen to our conversation here is going to know that you have a mindset that is, I mean, you cannot bring Madeline down. Clearly, right? Like she's a go-getter. She will get what she wants, regardless. So, Madeline, I just want to ask you one question that will give us a great idea of, how what your mindset is about, right? And that is basically how do you handle failure, right? How do you handle failure? How do you react to failure when times get tough? How do you bounce back?
Oh my God, I've done it so much in life that it just puts more fire like within me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just brings this character out of me that's like, okay, that didn't work. Okay, then the next one. Like, I don't sit there like that deal. I didn't sit there and kind of like, oh, and just not look at another deal. I just kind of brushed it off and said, okay, cool. Now I have to get better in X, Y, and Z. But one thing that has worked for me is, of course, I believe in God, and I put him first all the time. And everybody has their own way of like really feeding their spirit and feeding, knowledge and wisdom within. And I feel like that's where I get it from. It's like, I know that God has something for me. There's a purpose for me. And because I know that, and I trust that, and I trust the process, I don't, like, every failure, everything that comes at me, like, I'm like, I know there's an answer for this. Like, there's so many like many moments in my life that, like, I will see my car almost broken down, and I'm like, I don't have any funds, but I have to make money. I have to do this. And it's like, I just won't think about it. It's like, you know what? I'm just going to think of like, what is the outcome? Like, the outcome is I need to get to point B. I need to figure it out. And then once I'm done with that, then I'll get the next task. Yeah. So one thing that has helped me is just focus on today. Like, okay, if I have 20 things to do today, it's 20 things. I'm not going to focus on tomorrow. I'm not going to focus about yesterday. I'm going to focus on everything that I got to do. And then I focus on the hour. Like, okay, the car is not working. As long as I can get to B and I can figure out, I need to work on B, put all my energy in B, and then I can go to C. So what I've learned is my mindset is just basically focus on whatever I'm focusing on. Yeah. You know what I mean? I can't worry about, X, Y, and Z. Like, yeah. I'm here. My energy is here. You guys have me. I'm all in. Like, anything else surrounding me doesn't matter because I'm all in. And that has helped me just kind of like, okay, just check in the box. Okay, this is done. This is completed. Okay, I need to figure out how to pay this or pay that, or I need to get this investor to get this, or how do I, it's all in increments. You know what I'm saying? And just once you're reading and you're listening to positive messages that are kind of giving you that oil to keep going, life becomes a little bit easier. And once you have that peace within you, even though your life could be, a chaos, but within you have peace, and you know that you just have to keep going and just focusing, on what the promises are, like verses or a certain saying or a certain, a vision board, and it will keep you going. I have a quick thing to say is I created a vision board in 2018, and I didn't, you just create them, you put the cars and the vacations and this and that, right? And in 2022, everybody in multifamily knows I wanted to go to a cabin, I wanted to go skiing, I wanted to go to the mountains on Christmas, and I would see all these families do it, and I'm like, oh, I just did, I want that so bad for my family. So I put, cool thing, I put like skiing pictures and stuff on my vision board. And, I have it there since 2018. It's in front of me. It's there. Like sometimes sometimes I look at it, sometimes I don't, but it's there, right? And I'm working here. And Ryan, when we closed our first deal, Ryan was like, hey, you need to go get that cabin. You need to get that cabin. So he pushed me. So having those right people pushing you to get to your goal is extremely important. So he's like, okay, but I'm super busy. I did it. I scheduled a car, I scheduled a cabin, I scheduled the skiing and whatever. I literally went 2022. We ended up going to Beach Mountain. I drove from Florida to North Carolina, never done it, wanted to challenge myself, and I did it. And I created a whole trip. And some people, maybe this is normal for you guys, your family, your mom, and they've done it. But in my family, nobody has done that. And I want to be that different, I want to bring something different to my family, because I've never seen that even when I was younger. So I drove there, we went skiing, we had a great time. And when I come back to Orlando, my vision board comes into mind, and I'm like, I know I have a ski thing there, which that wasn't what gave me the aha moment, but it was the words that I put on that section. And I said, new year, new vacation. Okay. And that warmed my heart, because I was like, wow, like the picture is okay, but the words that I put underneath, new year, new vacation. I was there for New Year's Eve, I was there for New Year's, and New Year's Day I traveled back, and it was a vacation. So, it's all what you surround yourself, what you listen to, your people, like people that you speak with, people that you tell your problems to, what are they feeding you? And that's what's going to mold and help your mindset. And by the time, you go through a lot and you have the right people around you, there's just nothing that can bring you down, because you have the right people, the right tools to keep you going.
Madeline, I absolutely, oh my God, undeniable faith. Let me just tell you, a lot more vacations ahead of you. Let me just tell you that one. Listen, I have had an amazing, amazing time talking with you today. I'm not even gonna call this an interview. This has been such an amazing conversation. Let's jump into the final segment of our conversation, which is really all focused on you, Madeline, and that is, what are your goals for the rest of the year?
Man, I want to bring more value. I want to give people more of me, because sometimes we're so busy working for us and our family, and we're doing things. But I think this year I want to give more people of who Madeline is, more smiles, more serving other people, giving them my story, showing people what I've been through, what God has done in my life. And this year is all about, the people around me and people that I can influence and inspire and motivate and say, hey, I am special. I am not special. What I accomplished, you can too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know you can. All you have to do is just, change your ways, change your habits, and surround yourself with the right people. But this year is all about the audience, for sure.
I love that. People first. Absolutely love that. And then
Yeah.
what is the one thing that would help you in your business right now, to either, help you level up, or, to help you accomplish your goals for the rest of the year? One thing or one person.
I would think more like I want to meet more like investors, that want to invest more, or like anybody out there that has like really good with systems and processes. That would definitely help me, because I'm not really good at that. So if anyone that is really good and have everything set up, I need that for my business, for the both businesses that I have, and that would be helpful. And then, it will release a lot of time, and I can kind of like, put more time in other things. So that would definitely 10x my business.
I have the perfect person for you. I'm going to make an introduction after our conversation. I actually just spoke to them earlier today.
Oh my God, yes.
That may actually bring value for you. So let me make
Yeah.
note of that. And guys, you have heard Madeline's story here today. I mean, she is an absolute rock star. If you are an investor looking to invest into multi-family, or you have a current assets that Madeline can help you increase and boost and drive revenue, please reach out to her. I mean, she does this. She has been in the business since 2001. I don't know of anybody in our industry, literally, that's been in the business for that long. So
I know.
she does this. She is a day-to-day operator, and she knows the business. So please reach out to her if you are looking to invest passively into multifamily and commercial real estate. Madeline, this has been an amazing conversation. One final question for you is, where can people connect with you?
So I guess you guys can connect with me in LinkedIn, because Facebook, I'm kind of like deleting friends here and there, but it's just hard to maintain that 5,000 friends. So LinkedIn for sure. Find me, Yau Madeline. Yes, there is another Madeline Yau. You think there's only one, but there's not. So it's Yau Madeline. So
I don't believe that.
YAU.
There is only one Madeline Yao. There's
I'm
only
like,
one.
you think, but no, there is someone else out there. So I put Yau Madeline, YAU, and then Madeline. Definitely connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm getting more active on LinkedIn. We have, some really cool people there that we have like networking events throughout the week. So definitely would love to connect. And then once you connect with me, I'll send you my Calendly. And then we can schedule like a 15-minute talk, and we can kind of connect and get to know each other, and just kind of learn, what you're looking for, and what, how I can help you. And then, let's just grow together, and let's have fun with it too.
Love that. And I'm going to put all of Madeline's information in the show notes. Madeline, it's been an amazing, amazing time. Guys, it's been Teeny Colin and Madeline, go getter, yeah, signing off.
Bye.